Lil Durk just dropped his 10th studio album titled Deep Thoughts. This album is full of very emotional songs talking about his past traumas and life experiences, so a lot of the production matches. In today's video, I'm gonna break down a beat I made in the style of Deep Thoughts by Lil Durk. On the album, it's full of rich, emotional piano melodies. It's got rich chords to back them up. There's vocal chops and vocal samples scattered all throughout the album, along with some sub basses and hard-hitting drums. In today's video, I'm gonna go through a deep dive and show you exactly how to accomplish this sound. Let's get right into it. So in order to achieve a sound like this, it all starts with a piano. The majority of the songs on this new album have piano. Some type of chords, some have more in-depth melodies and emotional melodies, but the majority of the tracks on this song, like we've seen with a lot of Lil Durk over the years, are gonna all start with a piano. So for this beat, I started with a piano and these rich chords. Check them out. So after I had the piano chords, I wanted to make a repetitive kind of middle frequency melody. So I took notes from the scale. I'm in the E minor scale, and I really wanted to make it out of where these two touch. You can kind of get a dark vibe for it, and you get that repetitive sort of sound in your head. And yeah, so this is what I came up with. I'll let you guys hear that now. So I thought that was a really good melody. It has some nice repetitiveness to it, kind of gets stuck in the listener's head. That's very important. I also thought it needed a little bit more, so I ended up adding a top melody. So this is the top melody without that middle part of the melody. And then after we listen to this, I'll let you guys hear it all together and see how it really ties together. I thought this part was a bit more emotional. Lil Durk does that a lot. It's a lot of emotional pianos and then some hard-hitting drums. This is kind of how I did it. I stuck in the E minor scale. I think that's a good scale. And I just kind of, you see it. I just go up and then down and then back up and then back down. And then on the second half here, I added in some variations so you don't get like listener fatigue and that sort of thing. Also used the G and the F sharp note, just like the middle note, so they all harmonize together and it's not just kind of all out of place. Here's what that melody sounds like with just the chords. And I forgot to mention, but I added in this E7 note up here, and it's just like another repetitive, constant aspect of it. And because that is our main note of the scale, it sounds really good throughout the whole thing. And I think it just adds another kind of like ear candy piece to it all. And it's in that higher frequency, so it's not really interfering with the rest of the piano. I think that's really important, as well as a nice, well balanced on the frequency scale. So now I'll show you guys what the whole melody sounds like with the top line melody, the middle melody, and the chords all together. And I'll just zoom out here so you can kind of see it all. Okay, so next up, I mixed out the piano. I did a little pan to the left here, and I also added a Fruity Parametric EQ2, and I just cut out some of the muddy lows so it doesn't clash with the sub bass that you'll see later on, and also the 808 that I picked out. After that, I added a Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I swapped the mode to chamber, and I made the color now. And then let me move this, make sure you guys can see it. And then I adjusted the mix level here to just 15%. And you just do that by clicking on this knob and then going up and down on your mouse. So I'm just gonna make sure I adjust that back to where it was. And then I also added a crystallizer here. This is from Sound Toys. Super cool like texture. It's like a delay. I I don't know, it does its own thing. It's, as it says here, a granular echo synthesizer, whatever the fuck that means. And I also adjusted the mix on that to 15%. So there are a little bit of effects on this piano. And for the piano I chose, this is the LA Custom C7 Grand Piano out of Keyscape. Some free options would be like the Labs Grand Piano. That's a really good one as well. They also have their soft piano, and that's super good as well. I understand Keyscape's expensive. Not everyone can afford it, and that's totally cool. There are a lot of good free options out there. Okay, so now I'll play you the melody without effects on, so you can hear the difference. And then this is with the effects on. Okay, so another common theme throughout the album is going to be strings. Strings on top of pianos, strings by themselves. Lil Durk loves a good beat with some good strings on it, and who can blame them? They sound elegant, they sound great, and they bring a whole nother vibe to the song. Specifically on the third track of the album, They Wanna Be You, featuring Future, showcases these beautiful strings. So that inspired me to add a set of strings to layer with this piano. So with that, I chose Out of Contact. I chose the Session Strings 2. I'll let you guys hear what I made. So the strings did not need many effects. So all I added was just a Valhalla vintage verb with the default settings. And then I just played with that mix level again, and I mixed it to 22%. I'm not gonna show you the before and after. It's not a huge difference. I added a little bit of reverb. You get the point. Let's hop on to the next sound. The Lil Durk features a lot of vocal samples on a lot of the songs on this album, and I think they sound great with the strings and the piano combined. So on this one, I jumped into Arcade, and I jumped into the Distant Voices bank, I guess, and I chose the Native Land sampler. So this is what that sounds like. Man, those just bring such a different vibe to this melody. I did add some effects on that, so I will let you guys see those. I added a fruity parametric EQ, just cutting out a lot of the lows and a bit of the highs. And then I added a default reverb, Valhalla vintage verb, and I just dropped the mix to 31%. And then after that, I added a Fruity Love filter, and that's just to kind of tuck it into the background a little bit, so it's not at the forefront of everything, and it just adds a beautiful layer in the back. I just moved this thing down to the bottom left, and then I turned up the cutoff frequency a little bit. I just play with it till it sounds good. That's essentially it. And then I forgot to mention before, but I did pan this 29% to the left, as well as I panned the piano 30% to the left and the strings 39%. Those numbers are not like a scientific formula or anything by any means. I just pan it a little bit each way, so it's not all coming directly at you. So I'll let you guys hear the vocal without any effects, and then I'll turn them on and show you again. So the vocal packed a punch on its own. I just added a few different things to clean it up and kind of morph it into what I needed for this melody. So now we can listen to the strings, the piano, and the vocal all together. Okay, so after that, I wanted to layer it with a nice Rhodes piano, and I just wanted to layer the chords. He does this quite a bit on a lot of his songs, so it's just a little trick I like to do. It's not rocket science. It's just a Rhodes piano, layer the chords. Pretty simple stuff, but it does add a little bit more oomph to the chords and kind of like emphasize them a little bit more, and I think it just sounds really pretty and really good. So this is what those Rhodes chords sound like. Okay, and for those, I did another pan 35% to the right. I added this wider plugin for 49%. This is a free plugin. I love this plugin. I'm not sponsored by anyone, so everything I use are just things that I like. But yeah, free plugin, super sweet, just widens out the sound, pretty simple. I added a pan man. These are the settings I used. I always turn up the soft. I swapped this LFO over. I don't know if that's actually the LFO. But I swapped this to the middle so it goes back and forth, not like start one spot and work its way to the left or the right. I like it to go directly back and forth. And then I turned up the width slightly, and you can kind of see how it's panning right here in this little section. And then I added an EQ to just take out some of the lows so it doesn't muddy up the bass sounds I have come in here in a second. For the Rhodes piano, I decided to use this one out of Keyscape. It's the Rhodes LA Custom, and then I always turn off the auto pan because I like to pan it myself. Okay, so here's the Rhodes piano in correlation with the rest of the melody. Okay, so like I've hinted at a couple different times in this video, next up I picked the sub bass. For the sub bass, I just grabbed the Growler Moog bass out of Omnisphere. A lot of one-shot kits have this bass in it. It's great go-to. I just use the one out of Omnisphere because I have it and I have access to it, so I'm just gonna use that one. But the other ones work great as well. It's just a sub bass pattern. All I did was follow the root notes. This is what it sounds like. All right, so there's one more thing I want to show you guys before I show you the whole melody all together. So what I did was I routed all of my melodic aspects of the track, so everything except the sub bass, all to this track 15. And you do that by just selecting all of them. And then if you right click on the track you want to route them to, you just hit route to this track only. And that'll send them all to this track. And then I added a compressor on it. Just with these settings, I like to look at this to just drop it by like -3 to -5, and I turn up the attack all the way so it's a quick like grab. Yeah, I just wanted to point that out before someone notices that, you know, when you click on these, they're all routed to a different track. I don't got no secrets on there. It's just a compressor to kind of bring the highs and the lows to a closer medium and make it sound more all kind of like glued together to one. So with that said, this is what the full melody sounds like. And yeah, here we go. So then I have other aspects of the melody. Like in this part, I dropped out that middle layer like I showed you guys before. And then there's other parts where I only have the middle repetitive layer. And then there's other parts where it's just the chords. I like to add these variations. It's a really easy way to kind of, you know, if I had all the melodic elements playing at one time, you would get like ear fatigue pretty quickly because it's just a lot coming at you. I don't think our ears are built to listen to that all at once for long periods of time. And it's good ear candy for the listener or for the artist to kind of be able to switch up flows, or maybe they want to sing more on a part, but you got it stacked with way too many sounds where they can't get their vocal through it in a way that it sounds good to them. So I just like to swap it up in different ways. Next up, I added drums to this beat. So I'm going to hop over to that FLP and show you guys that. If you really enjoyed this melody and you want to add your own drums onto it, I'm going to have it available. First link in the description, totally free. All I ask for in return is your email. That's it. But with that said, let's hop straight into the drums. So as you can see, I made a full beat with this melody. So I'm just gonna jump through the different aspects. We'll kind of keep it quick, and then we'll talk about the arrangement. So started off with just a clap. It's pretty basic. You guys know a clap pattern. It's pretty simple. This is out of Luca Did This, his new kit. Go check that out. After the clap, I added a hi-hat. Added just a few rolls here and there, nothing crazy. After that, I added an 808. Like I said, I just follow the root notes when it comes to the bass. You want to keep your 808s in key and in tune, and this is an easy way to do it. So as you guys saw with the melody, I went from E to C to B, and so that's what I did with my 808s. It's not rocket science. It's just these basic little things that add up to the bigger things to make your beat sound better in the end. And for that 808, that's just a basic spins. That 808 is used a lot throughout Lil Durk's songs, so I thought it was only appropriate to use it here. You don't have to use the spins. You can experiment. Other 808s sound great as well. This is just what I went for with this song. After that, I just layered the 808 with a kick. Pretty simple. Just add some extra punch to it. That's all. So after that, I added this backup clap, and it's only on 2 of the notes throughout the 8 bars. It just adds a little bit of extra texture to the clap. I thought it sounded cool, so this is what that sounds like. It's like a sword slashing sound, something like that. I thought it sounded sick, so I went with it. After that, I added an open hat. And the open hat pattern, super simple, just every other bar. This is what that sounds like. Then I thought it needed a backup snare. So I grabbed this snare out of Beats by LMC's kit, and this is what I came up with. I think it sounds good. It's a very basic pattern. You guys have heard it in probably thousands of songs at this. It's very standard. It sounds good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So now I'll let you guys listen to the beginning of the hook. You guys can hear all the drum elements with the sub bass, and then I'll let you hear how it drops in with the spins 808. I also added a couple transitions here. They're very simple. It's just a riser on that one, and then this one's similar. But I did make them different just so it's a little more ear candy. Like I said, I think ear candy is very important. Something to get the listener to hang on just a few more seconds and get into the rest of the beat. So yeah, I'll let you guys hear the drop into kind of the hook here. And then after that, we can go over the intro and the verse. Okay, so I did render out the melody, but this is the full piano melody up here. And then it drops into the section with just the repetitive midline melody. So just that part. And I did that just to give it some variation. I think it sounds good. It kind of opens up the second 8 bars of the hook, and I think that's important. I also always like to stack my first 8 bars of the hook, so you kind of get everything. Here I did leave out the 808 because I still have the sub bass going, and I left out that clap. I kept that just for the verse. Just another little aspect to throw in there at the like almost the minute mark on the beat, just to keep the listener or the artist entertained, and just, you know, they're like, oh shit, didn't hear that before. That's dope. gonna keep working on this song. That's kind of like the hook. We can go over the intro here. Found a texture. This is just a basic final. As you can hear, it's just for the first 8 bars, just a little more ear candy. And then I found this other texture out of a KBZ kit called Motorcycle, and it's pretty simple as well. Just little ear candy, little textures, thoughtful things like that, and really elevate your beats and make them sound a lot higher quality. So I'll let you guys hear the intro into the drop. So for this section right here, for the second 8 bars leading into the hook, Lil Durk does this a lot, where it's like first 8 bars, you know, kind of set the mood, set the tone. Second 8 bars, you're bringing in a sub bass and another element of the melody. So that's what I did. And then I waited, I saved the strings, the beautiful strings, and I brought them in for the first 8 of the hook. Just another element of like, okay, this is everything. Let's keep it going. And yeah, so I think that sounded really good. After the hook, I know I kind of just bounced back and forth there, but after the hook, it's gonna drop off into the verse. For the first 8 bars of the verse, it's just the piano melody and then all of my drums. Second 8 bar, I did just the chords, and then I brought in the Rhodes chords to layer with that. And I took out the kick, the snare, and the open hat. And then I added another 8 bars of like verse, or if they wanted to do a longer hook, they could do that too. That's totally fine. Leave it up to them. I added a little change up in the hi-hat here, just another thing to kind of keep the listener engaged. I think that's important on your arrangement, is we're crafting this whole thing. So we need to keep people listening and engaged, and keep the momentum, keep everything going. That's our job as the producer. The artist is gonna do their thing with the vocals and the verses. Our job is to keep it entertaining for the artist so they can fully express themselves, and also for the general listener. They might not know exactly what's going on, but when you introduce all these new elements and stuff, it keeps it fresh, and they're not getting that listener fatigue and getting bored with the production. So yeah, and then I just have it jump straight back into a hook, and then later on I do have a bridge, but that's just essentially all these elements here, just minus the sub bass, so that's not a big deal. But I will let you guys listen to the verse here. So after I had it all arranged and that sort of thing, I mixed out my drums. And all I do with drums is, if you start with a high quality sound, all you need to do is level it. And then after that, to my master, I do add a Fruity Parametric EQ1 with just a slight boost in the lows, mids, and highs. Then I add a Fruity Soft Clipper with the default settings. And I think it makes it all sound good. With all that said, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you got any value out of it, please leave me a like, subscribe for more like this. If you liked this style where I kind of dive into an album and really make something in that style and then break it down for you guys, let me know. I could keep making them like this. I could keep doing the live cookups. I could do both. Either way, I'm excited to make them. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoy Lil Durk's new album. If you don't, that's okay. Music is subjective, and that's all right. I'll leave you guys with listening to the full beat. But with all that said, this is your boy Haba, Nick, or Nahaba, and I'm out. Peace.